Oh, what a beautiful evening. Oh, what a beautiful day. Have you had a magical day? And what about tomorrow? How do you make every hour count? We only have 24 hours in each and every day. I have 24, you have 24. That's all we get. So how do we budget that effectively? And I always use that example because we budget money, or some people don't like to budget money, but I love it because if I budget effectively, it means that when I go shopping, I can really enjoy my shopping because the money that I'm investing into my shopping experience is money that I've budgeted for. It's mine. I can do with it whatever I want. Woohoo! Time's the same. For me, it's a very, when I get to relax, for example, I really enjoy it because I've budgeted that time so that my headspace is not thinking, should I be doing something else? Should I be working? Should I be talking to somebody? Should I be checking emails? Should I be doing something different? I think we should all over ourselves. When I get to relax, when I do relax, I'm totally relaxed because I've budgeted that time for relaxation. So how do you make every day count, every minute, every hour? How do you become really effective at what you do? And rather than calling it time management, because I hate that word management, manage means in business, for example, it means that somebody has to look after you. And I don't want to be looked after. I don't want my time to be in control of me. I don't want to manage my time. I want to get the most out of all of my time, every hour, every minute, every day, every month, every year. So I'm very privileged that I've been given some great strategies for making sure that every minute, every hour, every day is effective and I get the most out of my day. So I'll start with something that's really simple. Is what I'm doing right now heading me towards my goal or away from my goal? And I use the example because I've got some spots in my head and I've got some spots in my house that if I think about that or if I look at that, I always check in with myself. Rowie, is what you're doing right now heading you towards your goal for today or away from your goal? And I think if we check in on a regular basis, we hold ourselves accountable, then we're more likely to stick to what we're meant to be doing. And that's called, of course, self-discipline. Do what you should do when you should do it, even if you don't feel like it. But can we get caught up in stuff that wastes our time, is ineffective? We could be doing something more effective, something better for our time at the moment. Of course, the answer is yes. So I regularly check in with myself throughout the day. So if one of my thought patterns is if I think about this, then I'm also going to check in and ask, am I doing what I need to be doing right now? Is it heading me towards my goal? And I also have a couple of spots in my house where if I look at those, I go, hey, check in with yourself, Rowie. Are you on track right now to achieving your goals, or should you be doing something else? And I literally stop what I'm doing. If I'm wasting time, if I'm doing something that's not heading me towards my goal, which I think is a waste of time, I just stop doing it. So that's my first, most special gift that I give myself every day, is stick to what's the best thing for you to be doing. The next thing is I only have 24 hours in a day, so I plan my next 24 hours very effectively. So my plan for tomorrow gets done at the end of the end of the day before. What do I need to achieve tomorrow? And most importantly, I only have 24 hours in my day. So I don't try and put 48 hours worth of missions into 24 hours. What a silly waste of time. A silly waste of headspace, because you can't do it. And sometimes I think, oh, is it possible that people put together a to-do list, can't possibly achieve it all, don't achieve it, and now they've got an excuse to say, oh, well, you can't be time managed. I hate that word, managed. You can't be effective at looking after your time because look what happens. Every time I do it, it doesn't work. Well, I work backwards through my 24 hours. So if I plan on going to bed at this time, I work backwards throughout the day from when I wake up to when I go to bed. How much time is that? What do I need to achieve in that time? Now, the to-do list, of course, is in priority. So what is the most important thing that I have to achieve tomorrow? What's the next most important thing? What's the next most important thing? What's the next most important thing? And then, of course, I tick them off. I love doing that. But I don't go to the second most until the first most important is completed. And could that be a really good idea? Don't try and do 5 things at once. I always use that as a classic example. You cannot ride 2 horses at one time. You cannot ride 3 horses or 4 horses or 5 horses. You can ride 1 horse very effectively at one time, finish that race, then go and do the next one, go and do the next one, go and do the next one. But there are some things in every day. So that's a to-do list for what I need to do for tomorrow. But there are some things that we need to do every single day that are priority. So one of the most important things for me is I really understand that I can't look after anybody else. I can't be effective for anybody else if I don't look after myself first. So I'm very aware of, before I do anything else, I do my exercise, I make sure I'm hydrated, I make sure I've got a stack of healthy food in my body, I make sure that I've set my goals, I have a very beautiful list of things that I'm grateful for, that I'm thankful for. I do all of those things before I start anything else. I don't come and do anything else, whether it's for other people, for my gorgeous husband, for my students, for anybody else, until I've looked after myself first. And the reason for that, of course, is the analogy that we all are aware of. When you travel on a plane, they're very clued in to share with you that in the rare case of an emergency, a mask will fall out of the ceiling. Make sure you're breathing before you try and get anybody else breathing. You can't breathe. You can't help anybody else, if you're not breathing. If you're dead, your ability to help is, you just can't. And that's how I live my life. And I'm sharing that with you because so many people ask me, and so many people whinge at me about not having enough time. They ask me how come I've got so much time. You and I both have exactly the same amount of time. It's what we have in common. So how do we make the most of our time? And of course, if I don't look after me, I can't do anything else. So I do all the things that I need to do for me first. That's on the to-do list. That's the number one priority. Then I work backwards from when I go to bed and make sure that each task, each mission gets done. Now, I also invest time into my puppy dogs. I invest time into my learning experience. I invest time, obviously, into my students. I have work to do every day. So I have very specific times for this is when I work, budget. This is when I sleep. This is when I relax. This is when I spend time with my puppy dogs. This is when I spend time in my garden. And there's a beautiful thing there when I say don't do two things at once, because that doesn't work. There are some things that are mindless missions. So for example, if I'm folding washing, or I'm washing the car or vacuuming the floor, I will always have education in my ears. I never let my brain just go dormant when I'm doing some job that doesn't require my brain. So I can actually fold washing and listen to an excellent lecture at the same time. So I'm constantly listening to something when I'm doing something that doesn't require my brain. But I also invest at least an hour, if not more, every day of complete empty brain space. Some people would call that meditation. Now, I will be probably in the garden while I do that. But being outside in the fresh air and the sunshine and getting puffed, because when I garden, I work really hard, I get puffed. My brain is constantly thinking, analysing, going over my life. I just love being by myself, and I like to have more than an hour a day. But I have a bare-ass minimum, a BAM of 1 hour where it's my time. It's dedicated to me to think about whatever I bloody want to. And I really enjoy that experience. So that's a really important part of a day. Now, I'm just sharing this with you because people at number one accuse me of being happy all the time. As I share, it's really easy to be happy when you're fit, when you're strong, when you're healthy, when you exercise every day. I get puffed every 15 minutes. So I've constantly got those happy drugs in my brain. I'm always looking after myself, so it's really easy to look after people. And because I prioritize my missions and my tasks, my day is very effective. Now, there's a special tool there that you may have heard of. It's called the 4 quadrants of time. The experts in the world, and there's lots of experts on time management, there's lots of experts on how to get the most of your time. And I appreciate that there's people that study all of that stuff. This one for me has worked the most effectively. It's called the 4 quadrants of time, and it's just 4 boxes. The first box is called urgent and important. You have to do it, and it's important. It has to be done now, and it's important. The second box is not urgent, so it doesn't have to be done now, but it's very important. The third box, interesting, not urgent, not important. I'll rephrase. Urgent but not important. why would you spend very much time there? I don't know. That box is usually for people interrupting you. So it's urgent for them, but it's not important for you. So if you've constantly got your phone on, if you're constantly answering your phone, answering text messages, responding to emails, that's other people's urgent, but it may not be important for you. So it's a really good headspace for me to be conscious of these four boxes. The last box, as I made mention, is not urgent, not important, which is called the waste of time box. So urgent and important, important but not urgent, urgent for somebody else but not important to me, and not important, not urgent. Now, unfortunately, of course, if you waste a lot of time, the day can get away from you very quickly. If you spend a lot of time in the not urgent, not important, it doesn't matter box, waste of time box, the day will just pass you by. The really important thing and a great strategy to consider is if I spend most of my time in the important but not urgent. And I share this very passionately because I don't want to live in an urgency box. I understand that life happens and it throws things at us and we have to do some things urgently. But there's two examples I always use. A lot of people go to the gym or start an exercise program because it's now urgent and important. They're unhealthy, they're overweight, they don't like the way they look, so they have to do something about it. It's become urgent. A lot of people use the dentist like that. I have to go because I've got a toothache. It's urgent now because my tooth really hurt and it's important that I get them fixed or sorted or drilled or filled. But if I spend all of my time, or most of my time, there's now a mozzie, woohoo, end of the day. If I spend most of my time in the important but not urgent box, so if I look after my teeth, if I look after my body, if I train my brain, if I become wiser, better and stronger every day, is it possible that I'll be able to avoid the urgent box altogether? I hate living in urgent. I hate it when I have to do it now, and usually that's where panic occurs, that's where stress occurs, that's where anxiety occurs, because it's really stressful because it's urgent. But if most of my time is invested into making sure that things don't become urgent, I stay in the important but not urgent box. So exercise for most people, it may be important, but it's not urgent. So they let everything else take priority over their exercise. They let everything else take priority over perhaps their time with their family until their partner's walking out the door or until their kids hate them. And now it's become urgent to invest time with my family because they hate me or my partner's leaving me. Well, if I'd invested more time in the important but not urgent, then perhaps that situation wouldn't arise. So those 4 quadrants of time have been very helpful for me. And I'll ask the question again, how many hours do you have? We all have 24. How many days in a week? 7, that's 168 hours. Are you getting the most out of your 168 hours? Are you investing wisely so you get a return on your investment? Or are you wasting? And the beautiful thing about money, if you waste money, you can always make more money. But you can never get more time. You'll never, ever be able to live this day again, this minute. The last second's gone forever. I'll never have it again. So I want to live in a way that... and there's this really beautiful song that I've just found. It's called Live as If You Were Dying. And it's a very positive song about if you knew that you were going to die, what would you do? And the chorus of the song is I'd go skydiving and I'd go Rocky Mountain climbing and I'd spend time riding a bull. I'd do all the things that I want to do with my life that I haven't done because I've been doing other stuff. Well, we don't know how many days we've got. There's a beautiful sunset happening at the moment, but I don't know how many more of those I'm going to see. So I want to make sure that every day is invested wisely. So I plan my day. Right now, I'm planning for tomorrow. I make sure that all of my prioritised missions get done. I don't overload my 24 hours. I just put 24 hours worth of great stuff into my 24 hours. But I exercise every day, every 15 minutes. I have a beautiful shower every day. I eat yummy food every day. I invest time with my puppy dogs and my partner every day. I do all the important things because I don't want to live in the urgent box. So I wish for you to live your life to the max every hour, every day, every month, every year, because we don't know how many of those we're going to get. Thank you for coming to Romax. My name's Rowie and I would love you to get the ultimate most out of your time, so that every day you can say, oh, what a beautiful day. I've had a magical day because I've got everything done today. Woo!